So, ladies, a lot of things happening in the world of sports, especially on the professional levels. NBA, NFL, Major League Soccer, WNBA, all protesting and boycotting and trying to stand up for equal rights. What are your thoughts about these protests and also the NBA players, especially the NBA players standing up? Charity, I'll let you start things off first.
Yeah, I first just have to say I was really surprised when the Milwaukee Bucks, they were the first team to kind of say that, you know what, we're not playing this game. We just need to take time to try to figure out how to make a change in our community. We're going to use this time to do that. And to me, that was a huge shock. And it was also very great to see one of the NBA teams just stepping up. And then obviously the other NBA teams shortly followed suit thereafter. And I just thought that it was great that we were kind of seeing some of these people, and I guess you could say these bigger figures, just kind of coming out and trying to say, like, we're standing up against police brutality, etc. And we want to try and figure out how we can effectively make a difference in our community. They didn't play Thursday. They restarted the NBA games back up. I wasn't really sure how to feel about that because I was just a little confused as to what change would really come about if we just kind of go back to things as normal. But I saw that they're trying to turn some of the NBA arenas to voting facilities and stuff like that. So my thing is, I'm okay if they, since they restarted the NBA, I'm okay if they do that if they are still promoting change in the community. Like, I don't want it to just be business as usual. I want them to effectively, actively, completely just try to make a change in our society. I just think that overall, obviously, as a country, we have a lot of growing to do, and I really commend the NBA players for being the first ones to kind of really step up and at least try to promote change some type of way, no matter what that looks like. So I really do commend them for at least stepping up, and really it seems like they're trying to actively make a change.
Now, Kayla, you and I both play sports on the collegiate level, and now we're seeing a lot of the collegiate sports step out. Of course, Alabama apparently will do something on tomorrow. Auburn's men's basketball team and football team were able to do something over the weekend. I even saw Kyra Lawson, who's the new basketball coach for women's basketball at Duke. A lot of people remember from Tennessee. She was able to step out and get a lot of support from the Duke community as well. So if you were back in your college days and this scenario was going on, how would you feel about all this, and would you support your brothers and sisters of all races and color?
Well, of course. I mean, this is something that I feel like I support every day of my life. So, I mean, for me, it's really no question. I would always be there for whoever, you guys, if it's my teammates, whoever, I'm going to be there in support. But at the same time, I think it's very important to bring awareness to the problems that are going on right now. And that's what you're seeing with like the professional leagues and the college teams and all of that. And I think it's really important. But like Charity said, at the end of the day, we got to make sure we're still promoting the change that's actually going to happen. If you stop playing a game, if, you just do a news story on it, you got to make sure you're still following through with what you're talking about. You can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. So it's really important that we make sure we keep doing that. But as far as you said with my teammates, I know at South Alabama, the football team did a whole thing where they all protested the day and they didn't practice, they didn't do anything, and they just stood there with their brothers and, made sure that they were promoting what they felt was necessary. And I think it's really important to do that. So absolutely, I would be there for anybody, whoever needed me.
Well, for me, I always go back and look at a lot of historical events that have happened through the years. And I'll tell you this, my great aunt Katie, and actually let me go ahead and say Dr. Katie Wickham, she was a world-renowned beautician who had a great beauty school in the city of New Orleans that flourished for years. She was actually one of the first African-American women to have an office within the NAACP in New Orleans, and she's had countless encounters with all kinds of civil rights figures from back in the day, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Well, there's one specific time in 1965, the AFL, before the merger with the NFL, had an all-star game in New Orleans. And at the time, the city of New Orleans, you're still going through Jim Crow, separate but equal things. And a lot of the players who came down there to participate, especially the ones of color, were turned away from various places because they just could not eat in this place or shop in this place because of the color of their skin. Well, after that, those guys bonded together to boycott the actual football game that was happening. And one of the things they did before doing so was call the NAACP. And with that being said, Dr. Katie Wickham, my great aunt, was one of the people who was able to help push the initiative. But here's the crazy thing about that. That was over 60 years ago, lady. They were fighting for equality and social injustices. And now we're talking about something that happened in the 60s. And while change has happened through the years, we're back to the whole protest thing once again for the same scenario. So I'm just praying and just hoping that individuals will be able to educate themselves moving forward, especially through this very tough and trying times. And hopefully we can take a step forward and move in the right direction.